Champions Cup quarterfinals are upon us. It has been a long time between drinks for us to get back into some Champions Cup action. We've had the whole Six Nations in between that, but we finally get back into the swing of things, and yeah, my Magnets can finally get some love after sitting around in a pile gathering dust for a wee while. Yeah, we get back into things, and there are certainly some interesting matchups on the cards for this week. Start with the first one. It is Edinburgh hosting Munster. This is the one between the two pool winners that still have to meet. So 4th and 5th overall on the table. Both did well to get out of their pools, which were not easy by any means and not confirmed until pretty late. So both squads have got a few changes. For Edinburgh, there's no Blair Kinghorn. He's injured, so it's Darcy Graham at fullback. Damon Hoyland is on one wing, Van der Merwe's on the other wing, Van der Vault still the preferred 10, Purgos at 9. Schoeman, McAnally's back, which is good. Schoeman, McAnally and Nell in that front row is pretty impressive. And the back row of Barclay, Watson and Mata. Mata, from what I've seen him in the Champions Cup, has been in kind of magic form. So that's a pretty tidy looking lineup. For Munster, you've got a few of your big guns back. Conway's in the squad, Carberry's back. It's good that he's kind of back from, I think it was a calf injury. Murray's back, although he still needs to regain some form. Mahoney is in there as well. In terms of other internationals, CJ Stunder's there, Tyke Burns there. So it's a Keith Earls, man. It's a very Chris Farrell. It's about half the Ireland squad. Although, you know, the Ireland squad underperformed in the Six Nations, so I guess back for their club, they'll be looking to regather some form. I mean, the same could be said about Scotland, to be fair. So, yeah, there's lots to play for. Munster are actually the favourites for this one in terms of what the bookies have got. At least down here in New Zealand, they've got the bookies giving Munster a 2-point head start, or at least winning by 2 points, so a 2-point disadvantage. So yeah, it's a tight one, but the away team to get the bookies' advantage to be the favourite, even if it's only a slight favourite, is an interesting one. I suppose part of that goes back to in the Pro 14. I think they played in November, and Munster gave them a bit of a walloping. I think it was like 40 points to something in the teens. So yeah, Edinburgh definitely have a point to prove, but that Munster squad is also looking pretty strong, so it should be a very good game. That one is on at a pretty ungodly hour here in New Zealand, so we'll see if I can see that one live or perhaps on a replay. The next game, Saracens hosting Glasgow. In terms of the positioning, this one is the top and bottom. So Saracens, who went clean through the comp, finished absolute top, first spot, didn't lose a game. Glasgow scraping through into 8th, but it was both Scottish teams through, so pretty happy, I guess, if you're a Scotland fan. But going into this one, Glasgow have never beaten Saracens away in the Champions Cup from what I've read, so it puts them on the back foot already. The fact that it's first against 8th, yeah, doesn't kind of bode all that well. They were in the same pool in the qualifications, so they finished 1st and 2nd, but both the results went the way of Saracens. When it was up in Glasgow, it was a pretty scrappy one, and it was 13-3, and when it was down in London, it was 38-19, so a whole bunch of points scored. From memory, it was tight for a while, and then Saracens just kind of ran away with it. So yeah, Dave Rennie will have to have something up his sleeve if he's going to get a result, because on paper it looks like a tough job, especially with that history going against them. In terms of the squads, Good is moving to fullback, so Liam Williams is on the wing. Maitland's on the other one. Brad Barrett still captaining from 12. Lazowski's there. Farrell's there. Ben Spencer. Front row this week is Barrington, George and Judge. Second row is Skelton and Cruz. Mario Toge is back, but he's on the blindside flank, so not in the second row. Billy Vunipola still there at number 8. It's a pretty strong looking squad. For Glasgow, again, it's kind of the other half of the Scotland team, barring a few of those big names who play in like France and whatnot. But Hogg is back, which is very good news for Glasgow and for Scotland. You definitely want to see that guy fit and playing. Sam Johnson is also in at number 12. He was one of the kind of shining lights for Scotland in that in that Six Nations campaign, so we'll see if he can kind of continue on that good form. Hastings still gets the nod at 10, Price is at 9. I suppose a few other notables are the two Horn brothers are on the bench. Seymour is still injured, Greg is still injured, Hugh Jones is still injured, so it's not Glasgow's strongest lineup, but I mean, then again, Saracens don't have Mako Vunipola to call on either, so neither squad is at 100%, but both still looking pretty good. The bookies have got Saracens by 15 points, so saying they are pretty comfortable favourites at home. The way they performed in the pool stages, I guess it kind of makes sense. So, yep, there's no love lost between these teams. It could be a bit fiery. We'll see how it goes. This one's on at a slightly better hour for me, but I think the guys might be doing work on the power lines. We got a notice in the mail to say they're going to be doing overnight work on the power lines, so it might be tonight, which wouldn't be ideal for me because although everyone else is sleeping, I want to get up and watch the rugby. We will see. The next one, all Irish affair. Leinster hosting Ulster, so this was 3rd and 6th, so the winner of pool number 1 up against the runner-up of pool number 4. Again, kind of like that Munster team, there's a few Irish guys, Irish national team squad guys back, and they'll be looking to make an impression after what was, fairly lackluster by their high standards. So definitely some guys looking to kind of hit back and show some form. In terms of the Leinster guys, I guess the main talking point will be the absence of Johnny Sexton. Apparently he's got an issue with his leg, so he is out of the team entirely. That'll be pretty disappointing. This would have been a good chance for him to get back into some form, but his fitness has got to be number 1 for sure. So that means Ross Byrne is back at number 10. I believe he was injured last week in the Pro 14 as well, so hopefully he's 100%. But in terms of the Ireland squad, man, you still got Healy and Furlong in the front row. You got James Ryan there. You got Ringrose in the midfield. Jordan Lammers at fullback. So Rob Kearney is actually only on the bench for this one. Levy's on the bench as well. But yeah, Sean O'Brien. It's a pretty good looking Leinster lineup, and at home, very, very difficult to beat. For Ulster, they've had some kind of good news with Henderson being back. They've also got Stockdale back, Geordie Murphy's back, Best is back. So, if you're going to get a win away at Leinster, I suppose you're going to need your top guns, and a lot of those guys are available. Balakoon is on the other wing. I've seen a bit of him this season, and I've liked what I've seen. Marcel Coetzee is one of my favourite players, back from Super Rugby and Springbok days. So when he's fit, he's also a very handy guy to have available. So, yeah, kind of not an easy task that Ulster have got ahead of them. The bookies have got them by a slightly closer margin than the previous game. It's 13 points. Leinster is predicted to win this one by. I mean, for mine, I would hope it's a bit closer than that. This one's actually on, I think, 6 in the morning here, so I should be able to get that. If the power is cut overnight, I should have it restored. By that time, it was either 6 or 7. If it's 7, I might miss the start. I might have to watch it on replay, but yeah, it certainly has the look of a pretty tasty game to see which team kind of gets into the swing of things first. But yeah, it's not going to be easy. And the last one, the all-French affair with Racing up against Toulouse. So it was the second overall team, so the winner of Pool 4, that same pool that Ulster was in, up against the runner-up of Pool number 1. So Toulouse ended up falling behind Leinster in that first pool. So yeah, it's an all-French affair, and unsurprisingly, some of the French national team guys are back for this one as well. Their Six Nations campaign was also relatively disappointing, but you look at that Racing lineup and it is pretty tidy. I mean, you got Zebo at fullback, Finn Russell's in at 10, Machino's at 9, Teddy Tomar, the kind of elusive runner, see how he's going to go. He's on the right wing. Imhoff's on the other wing. Nakarawa is in the second row. Tamiafuna in the front row as well. So yeah, it's a star-studded lineup, that Racing team. Also Toulouse, no slouches though. You got Colby, fullback, Houget, the kind of Is he going to score you a try or is he going to cost you a try? Man, also on the right wing. Medard's on the other. You got Ntamak and Gitoon in the midfield. So Ntamak had a pretty good Six Nations, but playing more from 10 than from 12. They got Zach Holmes in at 10. Dupont's in at 9. He had a good Six Nations as well. Jerome Kino is captain from 8. Arnold, there's Richie Arnold and Richie Gray. Their second row. So, yeah, Toulouse have actually won both of the top 14 games this season from what I've seen between the two teams. So, perhaps that will give them a bit of confidence. But that being said, Racing are still 3-point favourites for that one. There's not a whole lot of media about that one. I found that this is my first season really watching the Champions Cup week in, week out. When it's two French teams up against each other, there's very little media about the French team. And even when it's a French team up against one of the other like English-speaking places, there's always a lot less media about the French team. I suppose that makes sense, but it's just kind of an interesting one. I suppose we get it a little bit in Super Rugby with sometimes some of the South African teams doing interviews in Afrikaans, and there's a lot less about the Jaguares who Spanish speaking, but still, yeah, just an interesting little thing. But yeah, those are the 4 games. So 3 of the home teams are the favourites, with Munster being the other favourite, despite being an underdog at least on the table. How do you guys think these games are going to go? I'm going to see as many as I can, but like I said, there's a power cut planned for my district, so if that power cut happens, I think it was supposed to happen last night, but it didn't. So I'm worrying tonight as the backup. If it does happen, then it's going to be tricky. But I'll definitely see as much as I can. You guys let me know your thoughts on the games. How do you think they're going to go? Who are you picking to get the wins? And yeah, I'll talk to you again soon. See you later.